everybody. Welcome to Alterna Comics Live. This is a Holo Fame 2025 pre-order stream. We got the new Holo Fame books coming out. Last year's books, we had 4 releases. This year, we've got 3. So, I'm going to be putting these live on the site in just a few moments. It's 9 o'clock. It's a little past 9, to be honest. So, thank you for your patience. But I do want to just address real quick. It's 3 books. Let's put this up here on the screen. And again, thank you guys for bearing with me. All right, so we got the Holo Fame books 2025. The 3-issue set is at $74. Each of them are priced at $25, just like last year. The thing is, this line of books for this year, I got a new printer, a different printer. Still going to have the same great interiors. The covers are going to be even more impressive. They're going to be kind of like a cross between chromium and like a full foil, Alterna foil. Very similar to the way the trading card foil is like, but kind of like a blending of a chromium comic cover and a foil. It's really hard to describe without actually seeing it. The images on the site don't convey it well. We're doing our best to put them out there, but they won't look like the way last year's kind of looked. The books came out great. They're very nice. They're limited edition still. I only have a couple of copies from the misprint run and then a couple from the actual run. But this year's are going to be even better. And it's the same price, $25 a piece, but we're making them even more limited. So last year, kind of had them capped at 50. We sold 50 of Blood Realm, 50 of Red, 46 there of Red Koi, 39 of Tinseltown, and 37 of Trespasser. This year, they're all capped at 25. So that's it. Once the 25 sell through, that's the run. That's all there is. The only thing that's extra and they won't be for sale, would be just a comp copy to the creator of the series. So like Troy would get one for Mr. Crypt, I would have one for the chair, and Wes would have one for Unit 44. So I got a couple more things to explain on these books, but that's the most pertinent factor. So I'm going to head over right now and make these live right now as we're on air, because why not? So I'm putting these up. Got to adjust the quantities here. And I really appreciate you guys being here for this pre-order launch stream. Again, there's only 25 available of these. We have the 3-issue sets. Only 10 of those are going to be available. So the 3 single comics will only have 15 available to purchase individually. All right, so I'm putting them up now. If you're on the site and you refresh your browser in about 15 or so seconds, you should be able to see that everything is up there. The quantities are up there. I know last year, the 10 of those, at the time, 4-issue sets, this is 3 issues this year, those didn't last too long. So we're going to put these up and put these in there now, and that'll be good to go. All right, so I'm going to refresh this. Hopefully these are all active and live on there. And let's see how it goes. And then I'll talk to you guys in the chat, because I've had to so rudely ignore you guys while I'm kind of quickly explaining what's going on here. It looks like everything is here. It looks like 2 of the 3-issue sets have sold so far. Okay, so everything is up and active and live. Now, like previous or the previous releasing of the Holo Fame books, and I'll get into what exactly constitutes a Holo Fame book, and we did things a little differently this year. The qualifications are still there, but we did things differently in terms of this was 100% voted on by the readers after the nominees were put in. Last year, only 1 book was voted in by you guys out of essentially what was the nominees of Red Koi #1, Mr. Crypt #1, Unit 44 #1, and Actual Roger #1. So last year you guys had voted in Red Koi. Blood Realm, Tinseltown, and Trespasser were automatically included. This year there were no automatic inclusions. There were 4 inductees that were nominated, and then you guys voted on them between Twitter and YouTube. Very official polling, by the way. And so we ran with the top 3 votes, and that came out to the chair #1, Mr. Crypt #1, and Unit 44 #1. The Actual Roger #1 by default will then be an automatic qualified book for next year. And then you guys will vote on 3 out of 4 selections. You'll vote on, I'm sorry. You'll vote on 4 selections, 2 of which will be included. We'll do 3 books every year from now on. So with these books, they are numbered. They're numbered. So each one will be, 1 out of 25, 2 out of 25. The stamp will be on the inside of the book, numbering it. There will not be on the cover a spot anymore for that. So they'll be numbered by the order in which they are sold. So if you were the first one to make a purchase tonight, let's say the first person who purchased these, you got the 3-issue set, you'd have all the #1s, and so on and so forth. So if there's any questions about it, please feel free to ask. But I am going to talk to you guys a bit. I got a lot of other stuff to talk to you guys about. There's so much going on. There's a lot of updates for the various campaigns, various perks, books. There's so much going on right now. It's a really crazy April. It feels like Alternatives like kicking it into a different gear with the amount of stuff that I have to maintain and juggle right now. But it's a good feeling. We're getting a lot of stuff done. We're getting a lot of stuff out there and into your hands very, very soon. All right. So let's say hello to you guys. Now, if you're watching on my personal channel, thank you. If you're watching on the alternate channel, thank you. No matter where you are, either way, thank you. We got Ara here, says, hi all, love these books. Definitely an awesome addition to anyone's collection. Oh, thank you, Ara. And Ara would know. Ara owns more Alterna books than me. He's got a bunch of Alterna books that I don't even have anymore. So he'd be like the Alterna historian in terms of, knowing what was good that we put out and what wasn't, maybe. Hopefully it was all good. Bretsky, what's up, Bretsky? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. We got Brian here too. What's up, Brian? Good to see you, man. Z Comics is here too. How's it going, Z Comics? Very nice to see you, Wayne. Hope you're doing good. Brian says 25 Gold Rush. We're doing less this year because I didn't like last year that. And obviously it is what it is. I'm not blaming you guys. I'm not blaming anyone. It shook out the way it did. But ideally, I would have loved to have them all sell through at the 50, keep it nice and even with what was sold and distributed out there. And last year too, with the way that the printer, they did a misprint, they handled it nicely and everything, but it created a whole kerfuffle. So this year, going with a different printer that has a really nice cover option, and I know that I'm familiar with them. I'm not going to disclose who the printer is. I don't do that anymore, and I used to in the past. There's many reasons why now I don't do that, and so now we're going to go with this new printer. I have a lot of faith in what they can do. Their turnaround time is faster than the previous printer. So that's a good thing, because a lot of the times we're waiting on the printers and sometimes it takes like a month or two. Like currently I'm waiting on the Alterna remastered books, but they're currently in the printing queue process right now. So once we get those, I'm going to start shipping those out to you guys, and then we can launch Wave 2. So like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on. That's one of them. But I'm really excited about this printer that we're working with because they got some nice cover stock options, and they got a nice, like I said, a nice turnaround time, and they still do a great work. They still do great work on the interior. Last year we had, this printer did a fantastic job. Like here's Trespasser. It's still going to be a really nice silk coated interior stock, premium paper stock. which is what we do with the Hall of Fame books, especially. And it's still going to have a bit of kind of like that cardstock vibe to the cover, the way that last year's books had too. It's not going to be like a floppy cover. You just kind of really can't do that for these kinds of books. But I'm really looking forward to seeing like this mix of chromium and full foil effect on the cover. I think they're going to look even better. I saw some samples. I don't physically have them, but I saw some samples. They provided some videos to us of books that they've published or printed, I should say, and they look really nice, really nice. So, last year is last year. Those are the books that are out there. We're not going to be going back to print with them. That's not what we do with these. They get made, they're done, that's it. So it's just going to be 25 of these 3 books for this year, and we're going to be doing 25 moving forward. So it's going to be very quick. I predict that there's probably going to be a rather quick sell through on these, and we'll keep it like that. I know some people, maybe they might miss out. They might hear about this a couple weeks from now, whatever it may be. That's the way it goes sometime. But thank you guys to everybody who is coming on board early for these, and congrats to everyone who manages to get an early number, a low number, or whatever number they want. Sometimes people want specific numbers. Sometimes they want like number 9 or number 16, or last year 42 was popular. We won't have any 42s this year, unfortunately, but hopefully you find a nice number if that matters to you or not. Good luck with that. And if you're ever curious about what number you did get, just send me a message. I'll let you know. Some people are particular about that. Cole says, hey, Pete, congrats on the Hall of Fame. Congrats to the Hall of Fame class of 2025. Indeed. And I'll go over these books in more detail in just a second. We got Yan Zhao here. What's up, Yan Zhao? Good to see you. Zeke Comics is here too. How's it going? It says, got the 3-issue set. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Brian, what's up? Brian says, purchase made. Thank you, Brian. Cole King, member for 8 months. Fantastic. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. We got Brian also saying, got the All-Star hoodie with my 3-book set. Oh, it's a nice one. Stupid me. I should have worn it tonight. I tell you, it's like too much going on. I should have worn my All-Star hoodie tonight. Andy, what's up, Andy? Good to see you. We got Wayne here too. Let's see. Cigar Gangster, I purchased a 3-issue set. Thank you so much, Wayne. I appreciate that. David Romansky, what's going on? What's up, David? Let's see. Wayne says, ordered 3-issue set. Thank you, Wayne. Brian says, we are moving at alterna speed. It's seriously, it's picking up quickly. There's a lot of stuff that's going to start coming in from the printers. A lot of stuff that's going to start getting fulfilled to you guys. More than, I feel like I'm already buried in fulfillment. Like I have literal, like the whole space is surrounded in king cryptid collector boxes that are shipping out. I don't have much room here. Whatever you don't see to the sides, just imagine king cryptid boxes piled up. That's pretty accurate. We got Gordon Goodbrother here. What's up, Gordon? Let's see. Randy, what's up, Randy? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Radio Stories now is here too. How's it going, Radio Stories? Andy says, let's all swamp Peter's printer. Oh, I wish it was that. I don't mind if it's like give them a lot of business. I won't get into the things that have occurred when people knew what printer we used over the years. But there's a lot of reasons I just don't give out that information anymore. I wish I could. I would love to send more business to the printers we use and things like that, but it is what it is. Let's see. We got Andy saying 44 of Unit 44. Duh. Well, unfortunately, you can't do that. Only got up to 25. Jefferson wanted 50, number 51. Can't do that this year. Couldn't do that last year either. So besides these Hall of Fame books right now, and I'm going to get back to these in just a moment, I do want to go over just to show you guys what we had last year. As you can see, they're sold out on there. Obviously, they're not coming back. I just wanted to show you guys to provide an example of what we had last year on there. But we had Trespasser. Here, let me just do that. So we had last year, we had Trespasser, we had Tinseltown, Red Koi, and you see kind of like the effect. I don't like, I want a stronger, nicer, bolder, shinier effect for these. Like, it came out nice, but I thought it could have been better, especially for what the printer had showed me at the time. Now I have a lot more faith in what we're doing this year, that they're going to be really nice. So a couple changes. Again, we're not having this part on the cover this year. That's going to be a stamp on the inside instead. That'll be a stamp on the book on the inside, numbered based on, again, the order in which they're purchased. So if you purchase number 1 of 25, it'll be 1 of 25. If you got 5 of 25, it'll be 5 of 25, etc. That's the biggest difference in the corner box section. And again, it's for the chair number 1, Unit 44 number 1, and Mr. Crypt number 1. Just going over these real quick. Now, if you're not familiar with these books, we also have preview pages on the books too, where you can actually check them out and see the interiors and things like that. The chair number 1 is going to be a black and white book because that's how we made it. So there's the cover for the chair number 1. And as you can see, the Holo Fame 2025 corner box is a bit different than the one from last year. And this book, so it's essentially about a death row inmate by the name of Richard Sullivan, which also Richard Sullivan is going to be Alterna Series card number 21. And that's going to be a bonus for anyone that orders, or I should say pre-orders, these Holo Fame 2025 issues. That card will be available for sale on the site on May 1st, but some people were asking about card 21, card 22. Did they come out yet? Because Vargor is card 23 for the Blood Moon campaign. That's a bonus on there. And then Victor Lugo is a bonus, card number 24 on the King Cryptid 10 to 13 campaign. So you don't have to necessarily buy those if you backed those campaigns, but you could purchase those separately. But card 21 will be Richard Sullivan, the main character of the chair. Now, he's a death row inmate. He's been there for about 10 or so years, keeps on pleading his innocence. Now, he's slowly losing his mind to this prison. There's a deranged warden and his guards, and he's fighting for survival, trying to escape. The thing is, though, there's a lot of twists and turns here, and Richard Sullivan is not the most reliable individual. So if you've read this story, it's been out for quite a while. There was a film adaptation. It was Roddy Piper's last film before he had passed away. This book is probably one of the highest selling books that we've ever had at Alterna, between the graphic novel editions, which there were 4 of, and then the printings on the first issue. There were 3 printings of number 1. Number 4 is sold out right now. It's been sold out for a couple of years. I eventually want to do a reprint campaign for a couple of issues, that one being one of them. But I'm still waiting on the second printing of King Cryptid number 2 to see how that came out. And if that came out really nice, then we'll move forward with these short run second, third, or fourth printings in some cases on some of these books, like Blood Realm number 8. We need to go back to print on that. Actual Roger number 5, we need to go back to print on that. So if we can do these short runs, that would be great. They would be $4.99. And the paper stock would be very similar to newsprint, but kind of more like an upgraded newsprint. It's really difficult to properly explain. I should have the books for King Cryptid number 2 second printing in a couple of days. They shipped from the printer. Once I have those in, I'll show them off on screen. I'll go over them and I'll talk about what we're going to be doing, hopefully for the future, for reprints on other books. Now, so the chair number 1 is on here. Then we've got, let's go to the next one. We got Mr. Crypt number 1. And Mr. Crypt, he's a living skeleton. So this fella here uses a top hat and a mustache as a disguise. If he doesn't have this disguise, essentially the villagers chase him and want to, as you can see from the background on this cover, they want to murder him again. Now, it's a fun all ages comedy, if you can believe it. Mr. Crypt is a really just a lovable character. This book created by Troy Vivacis with art by Alex Jovich. It's just a really nice, it's a nice story between two friends. Now, Mr. Crypt has his best friend, Baron Rat, who he finds in this shed, this abandoned shed that the rat is living in, and Mr. Crypt takes refuge. And he forms a quick friendship of sorts with this rat, and they go on to have misadventures. So the whole series is rather interesting because it keeps building up different events and different circumstances. There's a constant theme and motif of Mr. Crypt's disguise being lost and people either being horrified by that, or in some cases, the disguise doesn't fool them and they don't really care that apparently he's a living skeleton. Either way, it's a really fun, all ages comedy, humor, a little bit of horror on some of the issues kind of a book, and you follow the misadventures of Mr. Crypt and Baron Rat. Now, this issue in particular spawned essentially a 12-issue series, if you really think about it. So there's Mr. Crypt has 3 issues. Mr. Crypt, The Adventures of Mr. Crypt and Baron Rat has 3 issues. Mr. Crypt and Friends has 3 issues. And Baron Rat has his own spin-off series of 3 issues. So this book did really well. People love this series. I wish that Troy would continue it, but he's done with it. He told the stories he wants to tell. So we're inducting Mr. Crypt #1 into the Alterna Hall of Fame because of that. So we got Unit 44 #1 here. Now this series and this cover, I think this cover might end up looking the best on the Alterna foil, Holo foil, Holochromium. It's so hard to put into words because you could see here the way that the art is. It's got a nice balance of the bright spots, the contrasts, all of that good stuff. The colors are going to pop. I think this one is going to look the best as far as the cover effect. Now, as far as the story goes, if you're not familiar with the Unit 44 series, it's a fun series. There's 10 issues of it out right now. #1 is where it all starts. This series is created, written, and lettered by Wes Loker, with art on this issue by Ed Jimenez. On issue 5 and beyond, Alex Jovich takes over. Alex Jovich, of course, being the artist of Mr. Crypt, and also did some great art for King Cryptid #3, #8, and soon #11. So Unit 44, we follow these 2 bumbling, idiotic agents of Area 51. And they basically have completely lost control of the area's storage unit. They forgot to pay the rent. The unit sells at a public auction, and they have to track down the unit and all the items that were in there because obviously they're of utmost importance, with it being Area 51. All kinds of different things occur within the course of this series. The first 4 issues are kind of like setting up the groundwork for the whole series and the world. We got introduced to a bunch of other characters. We get introduced to the fact that there's an alien invasion that's impending, that these 2 guys, Agent Hatch and Agent Gibson, Agent Hatch on the bottom of the book there, Agent Gibson at the top. These guys are the agents of Area 51 here that are less than inept, or maybe more than inept, I should say, at handling every situation that's apparently thrown their way. So issue 5, though, I love to see, I love the way that Wes has taken this series, because I love seeing the different case files that these 2 agents tackle. And issue 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, you see these different case files. Whereas issues 1 to 4, it's more like one big kind of journey that these guys are on, trying to get back all these contents to avoid this alien invasion. So Unit 44 #1, this is where it all kicks off, and you guys can pick up this book here as a Hall of Fame book. Let me go back to where we were, and then there's a couple other things I need to talk about that aren't just Hall of Fame related. All right, so just going over it again real quick, and I got to update these. It doesn't update the quantities. It says 10 left, 15 left. It doesn't update those. I have to manually update that. So we got the chair #1, Mr. Crypt #1, Unit 44 #1. They're $25 a piece. You can get a 3 set if we still have these available. Let me actually refresh that, because sometimes the whole set sells. It looks like we have one left. I think we have one of the 3 sets left. All right. So thank you guys. If you managed to purchase one of these, thank you very much. And congrats to everybody who managed to get a lower number, especially. There's only 25 being made. So again, keep that in mind. Now you can, of course, purchase each of these individually, and that's the equivalent of a 3 set, So keep that in mind too. Before I dive into some of the other stuff I have to talk to you guys about, because I got a bunch of things to show off, and I got things to go over with some of the campaigns. Let me check with you guys in the chat here. Gordon, what's up? Gordon says Pete wants the books bionic. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Brooding Viking says, hey Pete, wish I could get all 3, but I did get the chair number 1. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's see. Brian says the site sale numbers are not updating, still shows full availability. Yeah, I got to update that individually and manually. Shrek says, hi Pete in chat, hope everyone's doing well. What's up? Let's see, we got Brian says like uncoated magazine print. No, better than that. Like I said, it's really tough trying to describe what it is. It's like it's the closest thing I could say that the printing interior, the pages would be for the second printings with this new printer would be probably similar to like, not like Mando or Baxter paper, if you guys know what that's like from some of the books that were printed in like the late 80s. It'd probably be a little bit more similar to like a lot of Marvel books in the 90s, I would say. When it wasn't really necessarily newsprint. It still was, but it wasn't newsprint the way like the thinner stock of it. It's so hard to describe. It's still an uncoated paper stock. There's like an off-whiteness to it, and it's a little thicker. It's almost twice as thick as the newsprint that we're using in the current line of books. Like I said, once I get them in, I'll show them off, and it'll be a lot easier to show and for you guys to see. Shrek, what's up? Shrek says that's nice. Awesome. What geeks do? What's up? Says these look great. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. AL, how's it going, AL? Says I love Unit 44. Let's see. Brian says, Pete, the site is not updating. It's not updating. What do you? Oh, well, like I said, that kind of stuff isn't going to update. That I got to manually do that. AL says that's good since I lost all my old alternate books in the fire. Well, there's a bunch we're not going to go back to print with because I just don't have the rights to do that. And there's a bunch that I don't have to go back to print with because we still have them. But the ones that we will go back to print with, I think there's 5 or 6 books that need to go back to print. And I'm hoping we could do that, set up like a pre-order campaign for that. We'll have a bonus trading card, card number 22, which will be the actual Roger. That'll be with those batch of reprints. But I'm very curious to see how the printing looks with the printer. Like I said, I'll have it in a few days. Yeah, it's going to be, that's the closest thing I could honestly say it's similar to. It's like McFarlane's Spider-Man line, like the adjectiveless Spider-Man, the Ghost Rider Volume 2. You know, a lot of those books that were in the 90s before they upgraded completely to like the glossier stuff. It's a lot more similar to that. That's the closest thing I could say. It's not exactly that, but it's definitely similar to it. Trying to give you sort of like a comparison as best as I can. AL says, I want the actual Roger. Yeah, we're going to have, I'm hoping we can have the actual Roger number 5, have another printing for that. We haven't had one of those back in stock in a long time. We still have 1, 2, 3, and 4, but 5 has been sold out for a while. And the economics of going to print on newsprint and having like 100 or 50 printed or something. You can't do that. It's practically impossible. They won't even go to print with it. You got to print a minimum of an entire run with who we deal with. Some of them are different. Some of them it's far worse. You got to print like a minimum of 10,000. With who we deal with, it's been like a run of like 2,000 for the minimum, and individual books, the smallest size run is 500. So there's no way on some of these that I can absolutely, I can't justify going back to print for 500 books on something. Especially it wouldn't make sense because on some of them, you only got like 50 or something left of some of the other books in the series. It wouldn't make sense to have 500 then all of a sudden of this one issue, and you got 50 left of the others. So there's a lot of different logistics kind of stuff that has to be taken into account. But if we can get these short runs with this kind of like a premium newsprint quality paper to it, because that's the thing, is there's so many short run printers nowadays, and the quality for it's unbelievable at this point compared to where we were when we first started doing print on demand back in like 2006 2007. The quality it's almost identical in some ways, depending on who you go with, especially, and how you prepare your files. It's almost identical to what you could see on an offset printer, which it's crazy. I never thought that printing would have gotten to that level, but we're kind of there. So seeing those books and that quality that can be made at a short run, the economy of scale is lost. So they're more expensive, but they're not going to be crazy expensive kind of books. Like I said, they'll be like $4.99, that range. That's where the King Cryptid #2 second printing is at. I only printed 100 of those, and I think that's going to take us through, and that'll be fine. But if I haven't had a chance to show that yet, which I don't think I have, let me show it to you guys now in case you guys are wondering. And it's unfortunate because the reason I have to go back to print with King Cryptid #2 is because of the fact that the printer, our newsprint printer, hundreds of copies, had like a total just meltdown of red ink all over a couple pages. And I don't know how that's possible because it's a black and white issue. And they had said something had happened with that ink tank, that ink, whatever, when they were printing, and it went onto one sheet of the pages that were going to print on several hundred of those books. So unfortunately, it shorted me of a lot of those books. That's the biggest reason we have to go back to print with issue 2. But so here is issue 2's second printing. And the cover will be essentially what the back cover is, but it'll be on the front. And you can see it's second printing right here. We don't have a barcode on these. On the second printings, we're not putting a barcode on them because they're not going to retail in any shape or form. Some of the other books, when they go to retail, we put a barcode. Like the Hall of Fame books don't have barcodes. The alternative remastered books don't have barcodes. They're not necessarily meant for retail sale. Retailers can still go in there and buy them, but they're not going to get a retail discount when they do so. That's the biggest difference. So here we got the King Cryptid #2 second printing. Again, that's the front cover of it. It's literally the back cover. And instead the back cover will be what was the front cover of the first printing. And these are $4.99, and it's a very small print run. Like I said, it's just 100 being made. So this I'm going to have really soon. I can't wait to get this in and then go over it with you guys, show you guys what it looks like. Hopefully everything comes out great. Now, King Cryptid number 10 to 13, we're 14 backers away from 400. So there's a quick update for you guys. We're very close also to 16,000 on the campaign. So we're at 15,886, 386 backers on board. If you're one of the backers that's currently on board, thank you guys so very much. If you aren't, please consider doing so. Become one of the 400 that we got here. Hopefully we can get to 500, maybe 600 on this campaign. It would be great to see us get to the $20,000 mark, maybe $25,000 mark when all is said and done. If you don't know about this series, you can download a 62-page preview right here and see all kinds of pages that you can read and everything, and all kinds of covers too. This campaign specifically is issues 10 to 13. You can see all the different covers here. Actually, let me have it keep going. So we got Kier Covington back on board for issue 10. We got Alex Jovich on issue 11. We got Bill Mouse on issue 12. And then Christian Rossi comes back for issue 13, which focuses on the Behemoth. So a lot of people really love that character, want to know, what's he been doing, what's he up to. You see him come back in a big way for issue 13. And like all the other issues in the series, there's front and back. When you flip the cover over, a front and back cover. And issue 13 also has a glow-in-the-dark blank variant. So we can draw on that. If you're an artist, you can actually draw on that too. It's an expensive blank variant cover because glow-in-the-dark is very expensive to do. So be prepared to see what that price is like and understand that, well, okay, it's because it's limited and it's glow-in-the-dark. It's not the $250 that the issues are on this campaign. It's $20 for the glow-in-the-dark variant. But you can still get those 4 issues and the glow-in-the-dark variant, and I think it's like $35. There's a bundle on here, and you can get that. All kinds of stuff on this campaign. We got t-shirts, a script, trading cards. The trading cards have gone over really huge with everybody. Thank you guys so much. I'm glad you guys really like those. I love trading cards personally. And we got a couple full moon specials as well. If you missed the recent full moon special, that one was for the 11 by 17 posters. There's a set of 8 of them. That's for $15. That's from the previous. Those went up on the 13th, on the full moon of April. And if you're not familiar with King Cryptid at all, you're like, why is it full moon? What's going on with that? Well, the full moon, that's when King Cryptid's at the height of his powers. His powers, he's at his strongest. His supernatural powers are augmented by the phases of the moon. On a new moon, he's at his weakest. He's still a big dude. He's like 7'2", 400 pounds. He's powerful, but he's even more powerful on the night of a full moon. Like, this guy is ridiculously jacked on the night of a full moon. Really powerful, can lift tons, can fly at ridiculous speeds, heals really fast. His supernatural powers for telepathy with cryptids and animals, those are heightened as well. The full moon really enhances him. So that's why we have a full moon special by adding a perk to the campaign. Just kind of keeps it fun. The full moon special from last month, that was a glow-in-the-dark sketch card from me on the Blood Moon glow-in-the-dark card stock. So that's part of the campaign. But this would just be a character portrait. So it's a little cheaper than what you could have got on the Blood Moon campaign. If you got a glow-in-the-dark sketch card commission from me on the Blood Moon campaign, that's going to be a full body with background drawing. That's not going to be like this, which is just mostly a portrait sketch. Still going to be good, but it's not the same level of detail and composition. Then the other full moon special we had was a King Cryptid t-shirt that features my art, which is the back cover of issue 12. And then we had one for a color change mug featuring the art of Nick Hunter. And that's going to be a pretty cool mug where it's all black. You put the hot beverage in it, and then it reveals the image of King Cryptid. If you want to check out all that stuff, you can go to alternacomics.com/King Cryptid, or you can go to Indiegogo. We have it up on there at kingcryptid.com. And something I wanted to share with you guys that has nothing to do with the site, I mentioned it before, is the collector boxes. Collector box number 2 has arrived. So before I start showing that, I want to just go over and see if I missed anything here in the chat. Let's see what Geeks Do says. Luckily, I found Actual Roger number 5 on eBay. Very nice. Sometimes you can get lucky with those. Sometimes on eBay, though, like I've noticed, there's different Alterna books that haven't hit eBay. And I don't know if they get snatched up when they hit, or they just never get listed. But there's a couple that just I search every now and then because I'm missing them, and I'm always curious as to if anyone's putting them up there, and I won't see them up there. So I'm glad that you actually managed to get that. AL says, I understand, Pete, do what you can. I'm I'm doing it. I'm doing all I can. That's for sure. AL says, okay, got the Hall of Fame books. Can't wait to get them. Oh, thank you so much, AL. I appreciate that. What Geeks Do says, super excited for Blood Moon. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be a lot of fun. Eric says, that seems really good. I wasn't aware a blank sketch cover could be glow in the dark. Yeah, so you can't color on it because of the way that the coating is, but they'll do a full flood, which is basically just industry term for them putting the coating on the whole thing. And it'll be front and back on that cover. And it's basically like, if you can think of glow in the dark, especially from the 80s and 90s, like those comic covers, there was kind of a coating, like a feel to it. And I already got samples from them. I know I can draw on them. You can use pens, Sharpies, that kind of stuff. It'll take to it really well. And then the negative space that you don't draw on, so all the pieces of white through the image will glow in the dark. So it's kind of cool. You can make a really nice sketch cover. So once I figured that we could do that, why not? Let's go for it. Let's see if we could do that with the King Cryptid book. What Geeks Do says, my kids are jacked when it's a full moon, off the walls. That's what I'm talking about. You guys know what I mean. Why not King Cryptid? So the collector boxes, these came out great. So they're finally here. It took a while, took a few more months than I thought. They were out of different paper stocks, the cardboard stock for it, all that kind of stuff. But they finally got in. They got the premium stuff in. They had the not so premium stuff in before. And so you have the nice imagery across the board. We got art all over the place on these. And my favorite part is that these will connect to form an image. So if you got last year's collector box, and these are all starting to ship out. There's already about 15 of them that have shipped out. So this was last year's collector box. This is this year's box. There's going to be 5 of them that are made. And when they're all 5 together, they'll form an image. And this image is going to be from the opening splash page on issue number 2 by Nick Hunter. And we'll see collector box number 3. That's going to have King Cryptid's face will finally be on there. And that's currently on the campaign for 10 to 13. So this is going to look really nice when all 5 especially are on a shelf. That's going to look great. And then the other side, of course, is just, various art with the King Cryptid logo and that kind of a thing. But I love seeing the connected images form. So I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to get the other box in. It's going to be a while before box 3 comes in. Let me get this one. There we are. All right. But that's still going to be a ways away. But if you want to get box number 3, you could get that on the campaign for 10 to 13, which again is currently up on the Alterna site and up on Indiegogo. And if you're waiting ever so patiently, and thank you guys so much for being patient with the King Cryptid campaign, I really appreciate it. If you got a collector box and you're waiting on that, please rest assured by sometime between now to like mid-May, you will more than likely have your collector box. I'm going to be sending out tracking again. So you might notice that, like, let's say on the Alterna site, it's different. Like I can do a specific tracking per item. On Indiegogo, I can't. So if you backed on Indiegogo, you might notice that it looks like maybe your entire perk is shipping out again. It would just be the collector box. It would just be the collector box at that point. The handmade felt ornaments, Aaron's going to be working on getting those done. Thank you guys again for being patient with those. Those might take a little more time, but there's only maybe like 15 or 16 of those to make. She's currently swamped with orders. She's been swamped with orders, and I'm not going to go into it again, but there's been a lot of stuff going on. Personally, we're all okay, but I'm not going to go into it again. I've gone into it before that have kind of slowed the progress of a lot of the stuff that she's been doing. So please, I just ask for you guys that ordered the handmade felt ornament, please just be a little more patient. And I promise you, we're going to get those out to you very, very soon. But the collector boxes and the felt ornament, that's the last stuff that needs to ship out. So everyone's going to have those collector boxes, like I said, over the course of this month into next month. And it's not going to take that long to fulfill. I'd probably say maybe 3-4 weeks tops between the 100 or so that need to go out. So thank you guys for being patient. And I promise it'll be worth it. The alternative remastered books, like I said before, they're currently in line to be printed. Let me bring those up just to show you guys what I mean by the remastered books. Let's see here. And then we can get wave 2 going once wave 1 arrives. So wave 1 was 14 books, and they're all number 1s. We've had requests over the years. People love the newsprint, but some people wanted the books on a complete upgrade of a paper stock across the board. They're not going to be, the level of like a Holo Fame, chromium foil, whatever you want to call it, kind of cover. It's just an upgraded paper stock across the board. So that's all of our number 1s reprinted, some of them with new covers in terms of the layout. Like the chair will have a new cover on that for the number 1. We got new corner boxes on there. There's no ads in these. And then we also have the back cover of each issue is a flip style back cover. So we're going to have another back cover that looks like a front cover essentially. And there's going to be a poster that's a centerfold kind of poster where you guys can, if you wanted to, you could remove it. It's up to you. It's just something extra that's fun. So these are the books on here. We got 14 of them. If you haven't had a chance yet to get these, you can pick these up. It's up to you. Right now, we got the actual Roger has sold out. And we got only a couple left of each of these. Like there's only 4 left of King Cryptid number 1. And we're not going back to print with these. 2 left with Blood Realm number 1. Let's see, 5 left of the chair number 1. So there's not that many left of a lot of these. If you missed out on the remastered books, you'd like to collect this line, you want to get these books on an upgraded paper stock, see what they look like, then please feel free, check them out. Wave 2 will have the second issues of a lot of these titles, and so on and so forth until we have all of the rest of them done. And these are made in a very small amount. Very small amount. They're basically made close to the amount that's pre-ordered. I tend to order about like 20% more than what the pre-order period required. So if 40 get ordered during the pre-order period, I order like 48 to 50. It's that kind of a thing. So we have a couple extra during the course of time. But like you can see with the actual Roger number 1, in some cases they sell out. So there we have that. And those are going to be shipping out really soon. Thank you guys if you have backed those and you're waiting on those ever so patiently. Again, thank you guys. I'm going to be shipping those out to you guys as soon as I get them, which I'm hoping is within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'll have them, and then I can ship those out to everybody. Same thing going on with the Blood Realm campaign. I almost said Blood Moon. Blood Realm number 15 to 18. This is currently running right now on Indiegogo. Let me get this up here and show you guys. Okay. So Rob's running this campaign. Robert Geronimo is the creator, writer, artist of Blood Realm, for those that don't know. This is a campaign for issues 15 to 18. This is going to be going to print very soon. And then I'm hoping I'll have these in hand and that he'll have them too, so he can start fulfilling sometime in like mid-May or so, if everything goes right. Same thing with the collector boxes, his collector boxes. Now that I know, because I was really uncertain about the collector boxes for King Cryptid, the second box, because of the way everything has been taking so long. But now that I know they came out great, they're ready to go, they got everything going, I can get the Blood Realm collector box out to the printer. And then that will go to Rob, and he can start fulfilling the campaign in its entirety. So if you guys had a chance to back this campaign, wonderful. Thank you guys so much. If you have not had a chance yet, you can go and check that out. I'm going to put the link for Rob's campaign here. And the 4 issues, 15, 16, 17, and 18, are also available for pre-order on the Alterna site if you've missed out. You can just pick up the issues. Now, they won't be signed by Rob the way that they're signed by him on his campaign. So if signed issues don't really matter to you, feel free. You could pick them up on the Alterna site. You can go to alternacomics.com/pre-order, which would be, I'll put the link here for you, which would be right here. And you can go and access those and pick those books up. All right, so let's see here. We got a couple questions before I move on to the next thing. Probably be about 10 more minutes, so about an hour or so. Let's see. Let's see. Randy says, with King Cryptid, wouldn't you want to make as many floppies for the future because you plan on doing the series for a long time? Yes and no. Yes and no. So think about it in terms of every other comic that's ever been made. You know, you don't print a whole lot of them and keep them around for forever. Most comics aren't really even around past the initial period from a publisher, maybe a month or two. And even if they go back to print, like most publishers would never go back to print on an issue that came out a year ago. You know, they would just compile that later on as a trade or do something else with it later. So I print a lot, and I print as many as I can afford and as I can house, you know, so I am limited in those respects. But it's one of those things where, you know, if I need to go back to print, I'll go back to print. If the demand is there for an issue, then it's there. Otherwise, there's been times, like for instance, I got like 60,000 issues in the Alterna storage. I've had to throw away, recycle 15,000 issues from people who are no longer with Alterna. You know, so that's a lot of money that I've had to throw away, that I've had to literally say, well, I can't sell these because they're not with us any longer. And believe it or not, it actually saves me more money in storage space to part ways with them than it does to try to sell them, which I can't even sell them actually. So I have to literally recycle them. So I try not, at this point especially anymore, to print way more than what I need. Now, granted, King Cryptid isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon because it's my book. So it's a different scenario than another creator. But there's only, again, still so much space and so much budget that I have to print, especially an initial run. With that said, on the King Cryptid books, I printed like an extra 800 or so of each. I think I still have about 300 or so left of number 1. I printed 1,000 more of number 1 than what had sold on the initial campaign. So I do have a lot of the books, but again, with number 2, what happened was that the printer had that big disastrous error that just put red paint all over the place. I think I still have one of those. Let me see if I can show you. So the printer had, I don't know if this one's as bad. This one's not as bad. It's still pretty horrible. So this is the misprint that had occurred. And we had hundreds of copies where just red paint exploded, red ink exploded all over several pages, you know. So, and stuff like that, that kind of error would only happen with either WebPress or offset. That wouldn't happen with like a small short run printer and that kind of thing. It's a whole different mechanism, a whole different way of printing. So that's the reason why we have to go back to print with King Cryptid number 2. You know, it sold just as well as the other copies sold. It's very rare when someone comes in there and they order like just issue 1 or just issue 2 or just issue 3. People are usually ordering a batch of them. And when they do order just an issue, it usually is issue 1. So issue 2, because of that printer error, has caused this premature kind of second printing. But I'm curious to see again how that goes. Some people have already pre-ordered that second printing, so they're going to be getting that real soon. Again, those are going to arrive in just a couple of days. So I'm really curious what the quality is like and how that comes out. It should be really nice based off of the paper samples I got and the printing samples I got, but you never know. Fingers crossed, let's put it that way. Wayne said those turned out great. Yeah, the collector boxes, they look fantastic. I couldn't ask for more in terms of how these came out. They just came out spectacular. And I'm surrounded by them right now. I put together a whole bunch of them today. Brian says, Pete, if that's the only thing you have to ship to me, you can hold off until my next comics haul is ready. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's all I have left to ship to you would be the felt ornament and then the collector box. So, when your remastered books arrive, I should have both ready, because you had gotten the tier where you can pre-order the whole wave of remastered books, and you just kind of wait and we'll ship them out as they arrive. So I'll ship out your remastered wave 1 with your collector box and your handmade felt ornament. And thank you very much for understanding and being patient, man. Appreciate it, Brian. Let's see here. We got the Darker Half. What's up, Darker Half? And Randy says, okay. Yeah, that's the thing is, I'd love to print a ton of the books, but I have to be realistic with the print runs on what I can house and what I can afford when I do go to print. The budget is very limited. So it's one of those things where, I gotta see what I can do when I can do it. And if the demand is there, we'll go back to print on an issue. And if it kind of isn't there, I'll hold off, because I do eventually, it's going to be a few years down the road, but I do eventually want to have trade compilations based on character or storyline. The first one will be voted on by the readers as to what their top 5 issues are, and then we'll put that through as a trade for King Cryptid. But if I go and kind of keep going back to print over and over again with issues, even though the demand isn't there for a particular issue, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do that. So, I'll see how it goes. I'm not averse to saying we won't go back to print if we have to. I just want to make sure we have to. I don't want to just go back to print because. So when we do these reprint books for like Actual Roger number 5, the Chair number 4, Blood Realm number 8, a couple others too, that's because there's been demand for it, but there isn't a large enough demand to go back and do like a 500 reprinting. There's enough demand to maybe do 50 or 100 or 75, something like that. So we'll go back to print with what's according to the demand. And that's why I want to do a pre-order campaign type of thing too, for it to gauge that demand, to see, do people need these issues? Do they want these issues? Because even if it's $4.99 on the cover price for us, that would still more than likely be cheaper than getting the other printings on eBay or something like that. So there's a lot of things to consider. It's getting more and more difficult to determine and gauge the demand and what we go back to print with, what we create. Some people have been asking about going back to print on an Alterna series trading card binder. I've had about maybe 6 or 7 people ask that over the past couple of months. The minimum to go back to print on a binder is 50. So I really got to be certain as to whether or not the demand is there. If we do a pre-order campaign and like 25 to 30 sell, that's not so bad. That would make sense to go back to print, and we'll sell through the 20 or so, over time. But if we do a pre-order campaign for the trading card binder and literally only those 6 or 7 people purchase them, that's going to be really rough to put a whole print run, because they're kind of expensive to make a binder. That's going to be rough to put a whole print run through on a binder. So there's all these different things I have to take into consideration. Now this year we're also going to be putting back in June. I'm going to launch a campaign. People want hats again, like the caps. So we're going to be putting more alternate caps through, and I'm going to be putting a King Cryptid cap as well for next month's full moon special. So that's just like a heads up, wink wink right now. Next month's full moon special on the King Cryptid campaign for May is going to be a King Cryptid embroidered cap. Now we do have the Velcro patch that you can put on a Velcro patch hat, but people have been also asking about just getting a cap that's like this where the logo is on there. So we'll be doing that for next month on the full moon special for King Cryptid 10 to 13 on that campaign. So keep your eyes peeled for that if you're paying attention to, you want a King Cryptid hat or you're following the full moon specials. And that'll be the last full moon special offered on the campaign. So that'll conclude the amount that are offered at that point. Now, I got a couple other things to talk to you guys about. Let me see. Before we wrap things up and say goodbye. Let's see. Brian says, perfect, Pete. I got no problem waiting, opening a box with an empty box. It's no fun. I hear you. Cole says, same here. I can wait, and you can ship the box and ornament with the remastered issues. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Cole. I'll absolutely do that then for you too. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys for understanding. I want to make right by you guys and get things done, and even if it's at an expense to myself, but I really appreciate it when you guys meet me halfway and are understanding about it. And you guys, so many of you, if not, I can say honestly, like every one of you has been really understanding and patient and just awesome about it. So thank you guys. You guys are consistently the best. Seriously. I'm not just saying that. You guys are all awesome. Really appreciate it. So I'm just going to give a quick refresh here to the Holo Fame books before I talk about the one last thing I have to mention. Let's see here. So looks like, let's see, all of the 3-issue sets are gone. There's 14 left now of the chair number 1, 15 left of Mr. Crypt number 1, and 15 left of Unit 44 number 1. So I got to update the 10 spot there of the 3-issue set, and thank you guys so much for coming on board early, getting these Holo Fame books. Really appreciate it. Radio Stories now with the $49.99 super sticker. Holy smokes, did you mean to put $49.99? Thank you. Good grief, I can't tell what the sticker is. I don't have the YouTube chat up. Can you guys let me know what's the super sticker? I gotta, bear with me. I gotta see this. This is a big deal. I gotta see what this super sticker is. Thank you so much, Radio Stories now. Holy moly. Let me see here. Where is this? I'm going to and says yes. Oh boy, thank you so much, Radio Stories. Jeez Louise. Really appreciate that. Wow. So I got to go in there and see, what is this? What does this look like here? What does this look like? What is this sticker? All right. It looks like, let's see. It looks like you're on the Alterna. No, you're on the Comic Book Radio channel. All right, because I'm simulcasting right now between the Alterna channel and the Comic Book Radio channel, which is my personal channel. And for $49.99, I got to check out what this sticker is. Oh, that's an awesome sticker. It says, "You're amazing." And it's got this cute little dog feller. Thank you so much, Radio Stories now. I appreciate that. I wish StreamYard would allow me to actually see what the super stickers are. I can't see them on my end. But I'm glad that you guys can see them on yours. And thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Now, let me see. Before I'm so sidetracked now, I'm thrown. But thank you. Thank you. Wayne says, ship my box with the remaster too. Oh, you guys are the best. Thank you so much, Wayne. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. What Geeks Do says, thanks for everything, Pete. Love your company. I appreciate you, What Geeks Do. Oh, man, you guys are the best. You love bombing me, as the kids would say. Jefferson says, it's a happy samurai fox. Yeah, it's awesome. Let's see. Ink on Paper says, I don't see King Cryptid #2 on Indiegogo. Indiegogo drives me nuts with this. So if you scroll all the way down, like if you go all the way down to the add-on section, then that's where it's available. It's not available as a main perk. You can get #2 in like the catch-up tier, but if you scroll all the way down on the add-on section, you'll find issue #2. But that's Indiegogo when it comes to the add-ons. I would recommend, though. It should be in the add-ons. It's not. Are you on King Cryptid number 10 to 13? Let me see here. Let's check this live. We'll check it live. Let's see if we can clear this up. So if we go to build your own bundle, it should be there. If it's not there, what the heck? I put it on there. All right, let's scroll all the way down. All the way down. Oh, what on earth? It's not there. You're correct. You are correct. You win a no prize, as they would say back in the day at Marvel. Man, oh man, why is it not there? That's so strange. All right, I'll take care of that. I'll take care of that after the show. I'll make sure that that's up on there. I don't know why it isn't. It should be on there. It is such a pain to add the add-ons the way that they do it with Indiegogo. It doesn't take sometimes, as you can see. I would recommend, though, give us a shot on alternacomics.com, ink on paper. Like, if you want to back it, I would recommend go to alternacomics.com and check it out on there. Now, if you're just giving me a heads up on it, I thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate it. But if you want to back it and you're looking to purchase it, I would say go to alternacomics.com instead and purchase it on there. The reason being is that, okay, so if you sign up here, you can get Alterna rewards. So you can earn points every time you buy something. If you sign up and you're not signed up already, you automatically get 100 Alterna coins, which you can trade in for a 10% off coupon. And also, if you sign up for our newsletter, you can get a 10% off coupon. So you can save 10% off your entire order. And on top of that, you earn and accrue points every time you shop with us directly. And you can also get a whole bunch of other things instead of just what's on an Indiegogo campaign. So you can get way more value out of shopping directly with us than on Indiegogo. Just something to consider. And I would say that to everybody too. If you want to go to Indiegogo, that's great. We have it on there for a reason, and people do like to go there, and they prefer to go there instead of shopping directly on the site. But in case you didn't know, you do get discounts. You can get 2 different coupon codes right now, basically, and you earn points when you shop. You can keep an order history. You can keep track of orders easier. You can make a wish list. There's all kinds of different things you can do if you shop directly on our site. Just letting you know in case you haven't. But I will go to Indiegogo and update that. Ink on Paper says, I want them all. Is there an everything package? If you go to, so if you want everything from the King Cryptid books, if you go to alternacomics.com/King Cryptid, I'll put the link in here for you. So if you go to this link, if you want all the books, now if you want everything, you can get the king size campaign subscription. But that wouldn't get you the earlier books. That just gets you the new stuff. If you want all the books, it's really easy to do it. So you would basically go to each book and you can just pick and choose all the ones you want, add them to your cart. You can pick and choose if you want it signed or unsigned. If you want it unsigned, you can add it to the cart. If you want it signed, it's $1 more for the signature, and then you can add it to the cart. And that's just how it goes through. If you want to pre-order 10 to 13, that's also an option on there. If you like digital books, that's also an option. If you want to get trading cards, a story script, if you want to get the collector boxes, we have all of that on there too. So the first chunk of them is pretty much the stuff that's new pre-order funding kind of perks. And then the other stuff underneath is stuff that's in stock and basically ready to ship now. There's also an option on the site. You'll see it if you check out. There's an option on the site where you can have separate shipping. So you just pay double the shipping fee. Everything that's in stock, I ship to you immediately or as soon as possible. And then everything that's for pre-order, everything that's funding, will ship at a later date. It will ship when that's ready. But you can get everything and more on the Alterna site as opposed to going to Indiegogo. So just something to consider. And it's easy enough to kind of go through it and see what we have on there and take a look and go that route. Let's see. AL says, I prefer the Alterna site. Oh, thank you so much, AL. I appreciate that. I just like the fact that you guys can also add, all these different kinds of, not perks in the Indiegogo sense, but perks in the way of like getting rewarded for shopping with us. And you get those points and you can accrue them, and then you can use those to get a discount on your future orders. Let's see. Andy says, wait, I'm not subbed to the Real Pete channel? I think you are. I'm pretty sure you're subbed to the real one. I think you're subbed to both. Let's see. Andy says, okay, I'm subbed to Alterna now. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, we got the Alterna Comics channel, and we got the Comic Book Radio channel, which is my personal channel. Let's see. Radio Stories now says ordering everything would be like Christmas Day. And we actually do have an option where you can order every comic we have. In case you guys don't know, we have bundles. So in the bundles section, you can order bundles based on how they were released back like a year or two or three. And then we have bundles for Giants, bundles for the blank variants, bundles for all the first issues. Like you can get every first issue that we currently have in stock. That's 11 comics and it's $20. Or you can get the almost all bundle. That's $199 and you get like 100 comics. It's insane. You get all the Giants, you get all the blanks, you get every issue we have in stock right now. It's a massive amount of books. I think usually I gotta ship 2 boxes out in that case, but $199, it's like 100 books. You're talking about basically $2 a book, and the shipping would still be $7 flat, no matter how much you order on the site. In the US, it's $7 flat shipping, $25 Canadian, $40 international. So, all right. The last thing I had to talk to you guys about is the King Cryptid 5 to 9 Indiegogo. All right. So this is closing down very soon. So if you haven't had a chance to back King Cryptid 5 to 9 yet, let alone 10 to 13, 5 to 9's campaign and the bonuses that are included with it, like the Behemoth trading card, a 6x9 print, there's a bookmark, there's another trading card involved, all these extras. If you haven't had a chance to back yet and you want these extras that are included, do it before April 28th. April 27th will be the last day. So there's only about 10, 11 more days, something like that. And then this campaign shuts down and you don't get the bonuses anymore that would come with ordering during that period of time. So 5 to 9 at that point will be available. You can get them on the Alterna site, but they will not be available on Indiegogo through this campaign. They will be available, though, on the 10 to 13 campaign. But this is shutting down. April 27th is the last day. April 28th, it will not be up. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. For most of you guys, I don't think it applies either way. I think you guys have backed these books at this point. But again, if you haven't, there's always a couple people that may have missed out. You can get those bonuses. If not, you can still get the books on the 10 to 13 campaign, or like I said before, my preferred place, if you really had to twist my arm, would be go to alternacomics.com, get them direct there. If you order the 5 to 9 books before the 28th on alternacomics.com, you'll still get those bonuses too. So it's not like you just have to order on Indiegogo to get the bonuses. You'll still get them if you order on alternacomics.com. And I forgot to mention this because it's been a while. There's so much to go over. It's hard to even keep track of. On 10 to 13, the first stretch goal was unlocked. Well, it wasn't unlocked, but it was announced. When we reach 20K, it unlocks a 4x6 postcard. A 4x6 postcard. Let me make sure. Let me actually bring this up. Is it 4x6 or 5x7? Goodness gracious, there's so much. Let me share the screen one more time and bring this up. Because I can't even remember, did we unlock this? Or has it been announced? No, it's been announced. I thought so. Okay. So when we reach 20K on the campaign, we're about 4K away from that. It'll unlock a 4x6 print that's basically a mailable postcard. So you can actually, if you wanted, you can mail that postcard. But I don't think many people will. But it's gonna be a fun postcard. I'll show the image pretty soon. I'll show it when we do the closeout show on the 27th for the King Cryptid 5 to 9 campaign. But it's gonna basically be, something like enjoy your stay at the White Mountains, wish you were here, that kind of deal, with King Cryptid and his waterfall cave layer that's in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. But that's going to be for all physical perk backers. When we reach 20K, I'm going to announce the 25K stretch goal. When we reach 25K, I'll announce the 30K stretch goal, and so on. And I really hope we do reach those milestones. That'll be great. I'm expecting that since a lot of people have their perks on 5 to 9, I'm expecting a bunch of people to come on board for this campaign. It'd be nice to see an extra 100 to 200 backers come on board for King Cryptid 10 to 13. So if you haven't had a chance yet to back this campaign, please consider doing so. We're 14 backers away from 400. All right. I think that is it. So the Holo Fame books, thank you guys so much for coming on board early to get those. Really appreciate it. If you haven't had a chance, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. It's also in the description of the show. And before I go, let's see here. We got any questions in the chat that I got to get to? We got Brooding Viking. Will you do another run of the KC resin figures? Most likely not. I wish I could say definitively yes, because I do love them, but there were a lot of issues with doing the figures and the time involved and the money involved and a lot of different things. Again, that's an issue more for like if we get a lot of demand, I'll consider it, but I'm like 99% no at this point. And I think we're sold out of the King Cryptid figure. We're sold out of Granite Beast. We still have a bunch of extras from the Behemoth run. And there's some left of Chiron Morvel and Victor Lugo. So if you guys wanted to pick those up, you could pick those up too. You'll find those in alternacomics.com/merch, the merch page of the Alterna site. Andy says pizza points rule. AL says it'd be awesome to have like a punch card, if it was old school. If I was just like a comic shop or something, I have a punch card. AL says I'm subbed to both and hopping back and forth from both. I appreciate that, AL. Sorry to have you doing all kinds of gymnastics here to keep up with us. AL says I'm pretty sure I backed, but I'm always paranoid that I forget. I think you did. I'm pretty sure you did. I thought I could swear you did. I'm like 99% sure you did. I'm pretty sure that you backed on the Alterna site too. Darker Half says, I'll be ordering 10 to 13 on the website soon. Eventually, I'll be waiting for 5 to 9 with Blood Moon. I appreciate that, Darker Half. Yeah, I can't wait to get those out to you with Blood Moon. And that Blood Moon should be out in around like September, October. King Cryptid 10 to 13 will be out around like January, February 2026. maybe earlier if everything goes right. I've had a lot of difficulties with the printers over the years, and I'm trying to see if we can get around that when the time comes. That's a topic though for a different day, and I'll discuss that with you guys once a definitive decision has been made. I got to do a lot of thinking about a lot of stuff this year because we have a lot of things that have hit walls and have had delays because of various suppliers, and there's other suppliers that are available, other production companies that are available, other printers that are available that I have to consider maybe using. But the thing is, I would have to also then consider raising prices on the products, because that's part of the reason also I'm thinking why things maybe take so long sometime is because, you know, you pay more, they give you a better service. Usually it's not always true. Brian says, any chance of Hutful's Kashi figure of King Cryptid? Probably close to 0%. Close to 0. I'm trying to really focus and narrow in on the stuff that I find that the most people want, that there's demand for, and that are in more of the range of what makes sense for the books and things like that. I thought there would be more demand for the figures. There wasn't really a whole hell of a lot of demand for the figures outside of really the initial King Cryptid figure. So it's kind of like, you know, that's a lot of time, and again, it's money and energy that goes towards an avenue that I'd rather maybe put it into something else that would make more sense. And I know some people probably would like to see certain things, but it's not enough. It's not enough there to justify it, because everything costs so much time and money. Other than that, I guess that's all. Thank you guys again. The Holo Fame books for 2025 are currently up. That's the Chair number 1, Unit 44 number 1, and Mr. Crypt number 1. If you have not had a chance to pick those up yet, please do so. There's 15 or less now of those titles currently available for sale on the site. And once those are gone, they're gone. We absolutely will not be going back to print on those. Until next time, guys, thank you very much. For those who pay attention to what I do on my personal channel, tomorrow night I'm going to have Art T. Bear on the show, and we're going to be having a nice conversation and catching up and all that good stuff. I hope to see you guys there at 9 o'clock Eastern. And everyone, until then, take it easy. Have a wonderful night and an even better tomorrow. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much, and all the best.